wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of WFWA Main Event Wrestling. Joe Aiello here with you, and that big spring tour commences in just a few days. It will take you all over the province of Manitoba, featuring some of the big names in professional wrestling. You take a look at TV champion Bulldog Bob Brown, as well Champagne Jerry Morrow, the holder of the WFWA Heavyweight Championship belt. He will be here as well. The high and flying tag team of Sudden Impact, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, they have been signed for this big tour as well. Tomahawk Gene Swan, Brian Jewell, Chi Cruz, and even the former WFWA Heavyweight Champion, The Natural, plus many other top stars touring throughout the WFWA in the month of April. More details on that coming up throughout the program. We've got some exciting action as well. Sudden Impact will be here in tag team affair, as well a Legends match when Bulldog Bob Brown meets up with Canada's greatest athlete, Gene Kaniski. You'll also see the Bulldog in the doghouse with his former friend, now foe, Chi Cruz, the fan favorite. He will be here as well, plus many other top stars featured right here on WFWA Main Event Wrestling. Our first match right after this. A look at a man you saw last week, Rocky Carnera from Ontario, a rising superstar here in the territory, and he's taken on a superstar by the name of Stan Saxon from Chicago, Illinois. It opens up the program with a bang. Check it out right here on WFWA Main Event Wrestling. Stan Saxon making his way to the ring area, and he will be facing Rocky Carnera. A star in the making, we hope, at least for his career. He's got a lot of potential, Saxon as well. And Nick, I want to know here, let's take it one man at a time here. Let's take a look at Rocky Carnera first of all.
I'm thinking of the weeks in the past that I've seen both men. I find myself leaning towards Saxon. Only because I've seen Saxon now a little bit more than I have Carnera. But at the same time, both men are close to about the same size, and so that equals the whole thing. Whoa!
You know, I take a look at this Carnera kid, Rocky Carnera, ladies and gentlemen, well, I think this is about my third time seeing him grapple. But, Nick, he's a little bouncy in the ring, and I think that has a lot to do with nerves. You tell me.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, people watched me in my later years, and I was so cool and smooth. I walked around the ring, didn't seem to get rattled, moved fast when I had to move. Otherwise, I was just like a cat waiting to pounce on you if I had the chance. And that comes only with time. So when you see somebody bouncing around the ring, it's a form of nervousness and being on your toes and not confident and really sure of yourself, but that's okay.
Well, then this one should be an interesting one because these two men have a lot to desire here in the world of professional wrestling, and this is a stepping stone type of match for either one of them because they want those victories to be chalked up here in the territory. They've got something to prove, both of them. We should be in for a good contest.
I would think so.
Right now, Saxon, and this is what he does best, is just take his time in there, almost lulling his opponent to sleep. But every time you take a shot, you're not going to get a good night's rest, I'll tell you that.
No, not at all. Thing here is Saxon has got those surprising quick moves that we've talked about in the past. He seems to rely on his size, and of course he's got a man in there that's almost equally as big as he is. But those quick moves are a real bonus plus for Saxon. And at this point, he seems to be in control, too. So Carnera's going to have to muster it up.
Well, when you've got two men about equal size, do you just go at it brute force against brute force? Or, I mean, obviously you're going to try and counter with a man's weaknesses, but, I mean, this is probably the first time these two men have faced each other. You're going through that feeling out process right now, and obviously Saxon's got the better of Carnera. But you're right, Carnera's got to pick it up a notch and hopefully get back into this battle. And this might be what it's going to take, but Saxon showing some veteran signs here by a rake at the eyes, and not a scientific maneuver, but it seems to work. He might have him here next. Only a 2 count.
He took it too slow. Had he taken it a lot faster, then he may have done it. But as it turned out, he didn't move fast enough.
I know you've been impressed with this Saxon over the last couple of weeks. He's showing you a lot of good stuff in there. And that's definitely a compliment to a man of Stan Saxon's ability, coming from a former champion like yourself. Nick, do you ever get the bug, the bite maybe, to ever get back in there sitting here at the ringside table?
I do, until I start to move real quick and my ankle shoots out some pain. And then my knee, once in a while, I think I have to run across the street, and then the knees start to tell me something. And then I find myself saying, oh yeah, the mind would love to do it, but the body is telling you, don't be a fool.
What's the worst injury you ever suffered in the squared circle? A lot of people, want to know.
It would be a lower back injury, which probably prevailed on and off for a whole year.
And you kept going through that whole year.
Yeah, you just, maybe I should have walked away. I don't seem to have any repercussions from it at this point in my life, and hope I don't. But at the time, there's something about athletes. We become fools. We get caught up in the whole hype of the thing, the love of the sport, the crowds, the people, the adrenaline, the rush, the adulation, and put ourselves through exactly what we're watching in the ring at this moment. And believe, this is a wonderful thing to be doing. And I can't complain. I do it all over again.
Well, both these men in here would love to become a man of Nick Bockwinkel's stature, and one of them might. Schoolboy cradle, if you will. Carnera tries to surprise Saxon, and he got a surprise of his own, a size 13 marking on the back of the shoulder blade.
Well, what I liked about what Saxon just did there, he kicked out of a move where he almost got pinned, and then immediately, at top speed, went right after Carnera.
Whoa! And a boot there by Carnera, trying to turn this one around. Go ahead, Nick. I know you were impressed with that. Irish whip off the ropes.
Oh! Don't go around posing, just get him. All right. He caught him with a tremendous shoulder with a lot of speed and velocity. If he can pull this move off, he could very easily take the match. And boy, he's prepped for it.
Oh! Saxon was playing possum. I'm sure he felt the effect of that shoulder block, but he had enough steam left to move out of the way. And this could cost Carnera dearly. Irish whip off the rope. And there's that big hammer to the head, and it could be good night Irene or good night Rocky, and it is.
Excellent match. And there we go. Saxon, once again, one of those quick, sharp, fast, dynamic moves.
Stan Saxon with an impressive victory over Rocky Carnera. He is ready for that big tour coming up starting April the 15th on the Long Plain Reserve, taking you all the way through the month of April, all throughout the province of Manitoba. Also signed Bobby J. How about Champagne Jerry Morrow, The Natural, Bulldog Bob Brown. The list goes on and on, including Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, and that great, exciting tag team by the name of Sudden Impact. They will all be here for that big spring tour, and here are more details on where the WFWA will be. The WFWA on tour starting Wednesday night, April the 15th on the Long Plain Reserve. 8 o'clock start time at the arena. Tickets available at the door. Already signed Bulldog Bob Brown, Tomahawk Gene Swan, Brian Jewell, Chi Cruz, plus many other top stars. On Thursday, April the 16th, Morden, Manitoba at the Morden Rec Center. For advance tickets, call 822-5431. Already signed some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Bobby J, Stan Saxon, Chi Cruz, Bulldog Bob Brown, and Sudden Impact. On Saturday, April the 18th, the Pine Creek Inn, 2 o'clock start time. What a Saturday afternoon matinee that one will be. On Saturday, April the 18th, Dauphin, Manitoba, one of the biggest cards of the year at the DMCC. You can call 638-4751 for advance tickets at Black Sporting and Cycle. It all gets underway at 8 o'clock. Already signed Sudden Impact, Bulldog Bob Brown, Champagne Jerry Morrow, Tomahawk Gene Swan, Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, plus many other top stars. On Monday, April the 20th, Killarney, Manitoba at the Killarney Collegiate South Gym. Tickets at KC Pizza, 523-8207. Some of the biggest names in professional wrestling already signed for the big card on Monday, April the 20th in Killarney. On Tuesday, April the 21st, Melita, Manitoba at the Melita Arena. Tickets available at Delmar Pro Hardware. You can see Sudden Impact, Bulldog Bob Brown, Chi Cruz, The Natural, plus many other top stars in action in Melita. On April the 22nd, Wednesday night, Beausejour, Manitoba Manitoba at the Broken Head River Rec Complex. You can pick up your tickets at Crosstown Convenience Store by calling 268-4177 or at Bergey's 268-1475. A big card headed on Wednesday, April the 22nd to Beausejour, Manitoba. On Thursday, April the 23rd, the stars of the WFWA visit Steinbach, Manitoba at Freedom's Field Community Club. 8 o'clock start time. Tickets at Image Gallery by calling 326-4247. Already signed the Champagne Man, Jerry Morrow, The Natural, Bulldog Bob Brown, Stan Saxon, Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, Sudden Impact, plus many other top stars. On Friday, April the 24th, the Dakota Community Club. Tickets available at the door, 7:30 start time. One of the biggest cards to ever hit Winnipeg. And a tentative date, Saturday, April the 25th in Lac du Bonnie, Manitoba. I've had a chance to witness some of the greatest athletes in the game today, and one of them that will impress all of you is a man by the name of Champagne Jerry Morrow. Yes, he is maniacal. Yes, he is sadistic, but his record speaks for itself. He is the new WFWA heavyweight champion. I want to take you back a couple of months ago to Calgary, Alberta, a match that took place with Champagne Jerry Morrow and the Bullet Mike Lazansky. You won't be disappointed.
How the mighty have fallen. Champagne Jerry Morrow, the former CNWA champion from Martinique and the French West Indies, in tonight against the Rookie of the Year, Mike Lazansky from Vancouver, BC. Mike weighing in at 234 pounds. And of course, whenever Jerry Morrow's in the vicinity, the Weasel can't be far behind. And of course, the Weasel is on the outside, managing his #1 fighter. I say how the mighty have fallen because it's been quite a while since Jerry Morrow lost his title to Ron Ritchie. And it's a long road back to the top, and Morrow is fighting back each and every week. There's the Weasel. We apologize for that, but there he is. Mike Lazansky, obviously the fan favorite here, and he's getting quite a working over right now by Jerry Morrow as Morrow slings him off that top rope. I mentioned that Morrow had lost that title a few weeks back to Ron Ritchie. Coming up just a little bit later on tonight, we have got Ritchie against Randy Thatcher. It's a rematch for the title. You'll remember what happened last week. The same two combatants went at it for a good 15 minutes before Beef Wellington interfered, and the match was thrown out, and Beef Wellington was subsequently suspended, and his license was pulled, so that's the last we'll see of Mr. Beef Wellington in the CNWA. And speaking of things either last week or to come, don't forget in 2 weeks, we have got two of the best midget wrestlers in the world. And I am referring to Farmer Pete and Little John. Farmer Pete stands 4'6", Little John is 4'8", the taller of the two, and between them they weigh just about 200 pounds. And they'll be in here 2 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks down the road, we can look forward to the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. I'm telling you, lots happening at Frank Systems Emporium, the Silver Dollar Action Center. And if you want tickets, I suggest you call ahead, 280-8619 if you're in the Calgary area. If you're out of town, the area code is 403. And for any of the televised events here at the Silver Dollar, any special events, advance tickets are a lot more reasonable than tickets at the door. For example, the Royal Rumble goes January 19th. You call in advance, and the advance price is $8. You come the day of the event at 6 o'clock. It's going to cost you $12.50. Frank System tells you, please call early. We're expecting a big crowd for that one. Back to this fight now. Mike Lazansky working on Jerry Morrow. The fans getting into it. Morrow now attempting to sling Lazansky over the top rope. That didn't work. And you remember, if he would have gone over that top rope, it would have meant disqualification for Mr. Morrow. Here comes the Weasel. He's working his way around. Mike Lazansky now. Oh, a backbreaker. And Lazansky is in trouble. A 2 count, and he just gets his shoulder off the canvas in time. And Jerry Morrow has Lazansky in a headlock. Referee David Putnam leans in there now, checking for the choke. He's satisfied no choke is in progress, and he lets him go at it. Morrow asking Lazansky if he's ready to call it a night. Well, Mike Lazansky didn't get that tag, Rookie of the Year, for nothing. He's not going to give up on a mere headlock. We've got a standing room crowd here at the Silver Dollar Action Center, and they're all solidly behind Mike Lazansky. Jerry Morrow continues to hold Lazansky in that headlock. The Weasel not too happy with this wrestler right now. I think he's expecting just a little bit more from Mr. Morrow. The Champagne Man, of course, the former CNWA champion from Martinique in the French West Indies. He weighs in at a very comfortable 240 pounds. His opponent from Vancouver, BC, is Mike Lazansky in at 234 pounds. David Putnam asking Lazansky if he's ready to quit. I doubt it. Well, last week I was away enjoying the holidays with the family. This week, Ed Whalen is away with some personal business. Last week he had his hands full, especially with that last match, Richie and Randy Thatcher, the one that resulted in the suspension to Beef Wellington. So wherever Ed is right now is obviously enjoying what he's doing. And we look forward to his return. There goes a 2 count and almost 3 as Mike Lazansky on the verge of upsetting Jerry Morrow. Here's Morrow off the ropes. Big cross body. 2, 3. No, that's a 2 count. A 2 count. Quick rollover. Lazansky going again for the pin. 2. No, Jerry Morrow is a tough individual. It's pretty hard to surprise him. We've seen a lot in the wrestling wars. Now Mike Lazansky looks to me as though he's going upstairs, and he is. Off the top rope. There's a different move. Flying drop kick off the top rope, a 2 count. Boy, I'm telling you, Jerry Morrow is tough. If it didn't work once, well, let's try it again. There goes Lazansky back to the top rope on the other side of the ring. Once bitten, twice shy for Jerry Morrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed what happened. The Bullet Mike Lazansky jumping from the top rope and a miscue on the crossbody block, and that was the end of him at the hands of Champagne Jerry Morrow, who started to celebrate and assaulted Lazansky to the bitter end. That's why we're not able to show you the end of that match with the Champagne Man, Jerry Morrow. But you will be able to see him live right here in Winnipeg and throughout the province coming up in just a few days. Here is a word from the Champagne Man, Jerry Morrow. He is the WFWA Heavyweight Champion.
For all you Mohans in Winnipeg who don't know me, this is the Champagne Man. Mr. Condolo fly me all the way to Calgary to show you people what I can do. I told you something. Just put me in the square circle there when all this Mohan there, and they behind in the hospital. Because on my game, people doesn't fool around. You know, they hang up in the hospital when they're blocking arm, blocking neck, blocking back, everything you can do. Because the Champagne Man coming to Winnipeg just to show you guys what to do.
A few days away from starting, and one of the big matches already signed features Bulldog Bob Brown, the seasoned veteran from Kansas City, Missouri, tangling with Chi Cruz, one of the fan favorites here in the territory. And a couple of weeks ago, you saw what happened on the Doghouse when the Bulldog featured Chi Cruz on his return to the WFWA. Well, this week, the Cruiser is back as his guest, and I can guarantee you one thing, the fireworks have just begun. Let's take you to the Doghouse.
Hello, wrestling fans, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Doghouse, and once again, your host, Bulldog Bob Brown. A lot of things to talk about, so we'll get right to the top of everything. You know, the big tour is coming up, coming right around the corner. And I can't help but think, It's the greatest array of talent that I've ever saw in my life. Now, I've wrestled all over the world, coast to coast, border to border, Madison Square Garden, and St. Louis, Kansas City, Omaha, Minneapolis, all over Canada. But I don't ever recall seeing as much talent on any card that I'm going to see on this upcoming April tour. Now, right off the top of the record, let's talk about the sudden impact. Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, both are signed to be here, and they will be here. And they're coming here for a purpose. Hey, they want Jerry Morrow, they want Bulldog Bob Brown, and they want the Natural. Two great athletes, two of the outstanding individuals in professional wrestling game. And they're going to be in the province of Manitoba for 15 to 16 days. And you know what that means. They're coming here to win. Secondly, Jerry Morrow, the new WFWA heavyweight wrestling champion. He's coming here because he has to defend his championship. Now, there's all kinds of opponents, you know. There's Chi-Chi Cruz, there's Brian Jewell, there's Bobby J. Oh, of course, there's Bulldog Bob Brown. There's all kinds of talent here for Jerry Morrow. Now, let's go to Bulldog Bob Brown, the TV champion. You know everybody's after me. Hey, from coast to coast, border to border, they know down deep that a win over Bulldog Bob Brown raises them right up to the top of the ladder. But the job has got to get done first. And to beat me, it's not a very easy thing, wrestling fans. Now, let's talk about the former champion, the Natural. You know what he's looking for. He's looking for the title, of course. One great individual, one tough athlete. I tell you, he needs to be reckoned with. Now, let's go to the next guy. Superstar Stan Saxton, who's been coming on so strong in the last 2 years. I'll guarantee I'll go out on the limb and say, hey, he could be the next champion the way he's performing. He's winning all his big matches. We'll go to the great Indian star, Brian Jewell. Another great Indian star. I just can't help but go on and on and on and on. Now, then there's Bobby Genetti. Of course, everybody knows who he is. I broke his hand about 4 or 5 weeks ago. He's back. He's ready. And Gene Swan, the other great Indian wrestler. Hey, they're all here, plus much, much, much more. But last but not least, I forgot to say it, ladies and gentlemen, there is one more guy. His name is Chi-Chi Cruz. And I can't help but think that I know what he's after. He's in the studio today, and I was just wondering what he's doing here after last week. Chi-Chi Cruz, what are you doing here? And tell the wrestling fans, what are you up to?
What am I doing here? After the last time I was in here, I am not too impressed, Bulldog. Hit a guy from behind, knock his head in the table. I'm not letting that happen this time. You laugh all you want, Brown. Laugh all you want.
Yeah.
The promoter has seen fit to put me in the ring with you, and that's going to be like feeding raw meat to a bunch of hungry wolves. I'm mad, I'm ready, and I'm not looking for victory. I'm looking to beat your skull in. You know why? Because I hate your damn guts.
Well, let me remind you something, Chi-Chi Cruz, from, did you say Hartley, Manitoba?
Hartney. Not Hartley, it's Hartney. Speak straight.
Did anybody ever come from there that was a superstar in any kind of sports?
Many hockey. Many in hockey.
Well, all I could tell you is this, Chi-Chi Cruz, you got your hands full. I want you to go home. I want you to prepare for the tour, because I tell you what, when the tour is over, I want you to come back on your hands and knees and tell Uncle Bob, well, you're the better man. There you are, ladies. Just walked away. I guess I got a beat already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot something. I didn't... Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans, he just slapped my face, and nobody slaps the Bulldog's face. So I hope that you people got all your dates marked down, because I guarantee you one thing, Chi-Chi Cruz, you're going to pay the price, and the price is going to be pretty heavy. No one in professional wrestling in 20 years has slapped my face. You got away with it, but I'll get even the Browns' way. I'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't help but laugh, but Bulldog Bob Brown taking a slap to the face at the hands of Chi-Chi Cruz. I can guarantee you one thing, it's been a long time since I've seen the Bulldog that flustered or that upset. Guaranteed to be one of the biggest matches of the year. It all comes down starting this Wednesday night, the spring tour, when Bulldog Bob Brown meets up with Chi-Chi Cruz. We've got the Bulldog in singles action, and today's main event with sudden impact. That and a lot more Coming up right now, let's tell you what's happening with the WFWA. The WFWA on tour starting Wednesday night, April the 15th on the Long Plain Reserve. 8 o'clock start time at the arena. Tickets available at the door. Already signed Bulldog Bob Brown, Tomahawk Gene Swan, Brian Jewell, Chi Cruz, plus many other top stars. On Thursday, April the 16th, Morden, Manitoba at the Morden Rec Center. For advance tickets, call 822-5431. Already signed some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Bobby J, Stan Saxon, Chi Cruz, Bulldog Bob Brown, and Sudden Impact. On Saturday, April the 18th, the Pine Creek Inn, 2 o'clock start time. What a Saturday afternoon matinee that one will be. On Saturday, April the 18th, Dauphin, Manitoba, one of the biggest cards of the year at the DMCC. You can call 638-4751 for advance tickets at Black Sporting and Cycle. It all gets underway at 8 o'clock. Already signed Sudden Impact, Bulldog Bob Brown, Champagne Jerry Morrow, Tomahawk Gene Swan, Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, plus many other top stars. On Monday, April the 20th, Killarney, Manitoba at the Killarney Collegiate South Gym. Tickets at KC Pizza, 523-8207. Some of the biggest names in professional wrestling already signed for the big card on Monday, April the 20th in Killarney. On Tuesday, April the 21st, Melita, Manitoba at the Melita Arena. Tickets available at Delmar Pro Hardware. You can see Sudden Impact, Bulldog Bob Brown, Chi Cruz, The Natural, plus many other top stars in action in Melita. On April the 22nd, Wednesday night, Beausejour, Manitoba at the Broken Head River Rec Complex. You can pick up your tickets at Crosstown Convenience Store by calling 268-4177 or at Bergey's 268-1475. A big card headed on Wednesday, April the 22nd to Beausejour, Manitoba. On Thursday, April the 23rd, the stars of the WFWA visit Steinbach, Manitoba at Freedom's Field Community Club. 8 o'clock start time. Tickets at Image Gallery by calling 326-4247. Already signed the Champagne Man, Jerry Morrow, The Natural, Bulldog Bob Brown, Stan Saxon, Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, Sudden Impact, plus many other top stars. On Friday, April the 24th, the Dakota Community Club. Tickets available at the door, 7:30 start time. One of the biggest cards to ever hit Winnipeg. And a tentative date, Saturday, April the 25th in Lac du Bonnet, Manitoba. Careers. One of them still in the game today. I'm talking about Bulldog Bob Brown, weighing in at 250 pounds from Kansas City, Missouri. His opponent, well, you know him well. He is none other than Canada's greatest athlete coming out of retirement for this one big card. I'm talking about Gene Kiniski, now making his home just outside of Seattle, Washington. Here we are, two of the legends of the game and featured only here on WFWA Main Event Wrestling. You just heard what happened there. He was having words with Nick Bachmichael, the Bulldog, and in comes Canada's greatest athlete, Gene Kiniski. And before you know it, Nick, Bob's got something in his hand, and Kiniski's got it in his neck. And I wasn't expecting one scientific maneuver in this one. And I think you did the right thing here, putting yourself as an announcer ahead of a wrestler now, and that's got to be hard to do after 30 years of doing it.
I'll tell you what. You know, you asked earlier on, or you asked a couple weeks ago about myself and Vern Gagne, is the animosity still there? And I says, oh, well, the physical battle stops, but the ego and the pride stay alive. Damn it all to hell. I guess it doesn't take much to almost supersede the ego and the pride, and the physical wants to come out real quick. I'm speaking for myself.
Well, and I can appreciate that as well. And hey, believe me, I'm not even a wrestler, and I've had my moments with Bulldog Bob Brown as well. He gets me heated pretty quickly, but hey, that's what he does best with his opponents as well. And him and Kiniski, I didn't even hear the bell sound in this one. I'll tell you right now, you don't need a bell when these two men get in there because it's not even going to be a wrestling match.
No, I would venture to say if we see one scientific move, we'll both be quite excited.
Well, I hope one thing for certain. All throughout the weeks, we've been talking about referees. Are they lenient enough, or maybe do they call them too close? In this case, I think you've got to let a little bit more go because of the athletes involved in Kaniski and Brown. They've got a feud to settle. Why not settle it right here, right now?
Look what's taking place in football as well as basketball. You've got the three-step layup because they want the game to be more exciting. You then take, and you've got in football where the defensive men are allowed to use their hands. And what they're saying is they're throwing a lot of this to the wind. They're throwing caution to the wind because they want the game to be more exciting. Kaniski and Brown, and that is why in professional wrestling there is a lot of latitude to the rules, and it's given to the referee.
Wrestling fans, you're taking a look at two of the greatest athletes in professional wrestling. Gene Kaniski, Canada's greatest athlete, former AWA and NWA champion, former Edmonton Eskimo. Kaniski tosses the referee. And you've got Brown, the Central States champion, former anyway, and he's been around for a good 25 years. You've got a former world champion talking to me here at ringside, Nick Bockwinkel. Nick, this is what wrestling is all about, though, when two guys like this have been around that long and they can still go at it this hard. You know, you might get a miscue out of Kaniski. He missed a chop earlier. That's a little bit of ring rust.
Well, I mean, but it doesn't make any difference. These people swinging the ball. I hate to say it, but what's happening here is the referee's getting caught in the middle of this battle. We never expected anything scientific whatsoever.
Oh, Kaniski with a big chop and a karate chop, knife edge, and another chop. Holy cow! This ain't a beauty contest, ladies and gentlemen.
The bell!
Ring the bell. The referee has asked for the bell. And I don't think the bell is... We got both these guys going at it, and I think the referee had no choice for this one, Nick, as we continue on here. Couple of shots to that bread basket. Kaniski still fighting back. It was a bitter end to a great match between Gene Kaniski and Bulldog Bob Brown, but I can guarantee you one thing. You didn't see all of Bulldog in that one because he's saving just a little bit for Chi Chi Cruz. It all comes down starting this Wednesday night. The spring tour with the WFWA also featured. We're going to have Sudden Impact featured as well today in the main event. You've got the Natural, the former WFWA heavyweight champion. Superstars like Bobby J, none other than Brian Jewell. Stan Saxon will be there. And also the WFWA heavyweight champion, Champagne Jerry Morrow. That's the big names on the card, and here's where they're going. The WFWA on tour starting Wednesday night, April the 15th on the Long Plain Reserve. 8 o'clock start time at the arena. Tickets available at the door. Already signed Bulldog Bob Brown, Tomahawk Gene Swan, Brian Jewell, Chi Chi Cruz, plus many other top stars. On Thursday, April the 16th, Morden, Manitoba at the Morden Rec Center. For advanced tickets, call 822-5431. Already signed some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Bobby J, Stan Saxon, Chi Chi Cruz, Bulldog Bob Brown, and Sudden Impact. On Saturday, April the 18th, the Pine Creek Inn, 2 o'clock start time. What a Saturday afternoon matinee that one will be. On Saturday, April the 18th, Dauphin, Manitoba, one of the biggest cards of the year at the DMCC. You can call 638-4751 for advanced tickets at Black Sporting and Cycle. It all gets underway at 8 o'clock. Already signed Sudden Impact, Bulldog Bob Brown, Champagne Jerry Morrow, Tomahawk Gene Swan, Chi Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, plus many other top stars. On Monday, April the 20th, Killarney, Manitoba at the Killarney Collegiate South Gym. Tickets at KC Pizza, 523-8207. Some of the biggest names in professional wrestling already signed for the big card on Monday, April the 20th in Killarney. On Tuesday, April the 21st, Melita, Manitoba at the Melita Arena. Tickets available at Del Mar Pro Hardware. You can see Sudden Impact, Bulldog Bob Brown, Chi Chi Cruz, The Natural, plus many other top stars in action in Melita. On April the 22nd, Wednesday night, Beausejour, Manitoba at the Broken Head River Rec Complex. You can pick up your tickets at Crosstown Convenience Store by calling 268-4177 or at Bergey's 268-1475. A big card headed on Wednesday, April the 22nd to Beausejour, Manitoba. On Thursday, April the 23rd, the stars of the WFWA visit Steinbach, Manitoba at Freedom's Field Community Club. 8 o'clock start time. Tickets at Image Gallery by calling 326-4247. Already signed the Champagne Man, Jerry Morrow, The Natural, Bulldog Bob Brown, Stan Saxon, Chi Cruz, Brian Jewell, Sudden Impact, plus many other top stars. On Friday, April the 24th, the Dakota Community Club. Tickets available at the door, 7:30 start time. One of the biggest cards to ever hit Winnipeg. And a tentative date, Saturday, April the 25th in Lac du Bonnie, Manitoba.
Electronics.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of tag teams in the world of professional wrestling. Well, this tag team, very young and still learning a lot, but boy, do they know how to fly in that ring. I'm talking about two young men that have made trips to Mexico. They've also made appearances in Japan, throughout Canada and the United States. They will be here in a few days for the start of that big spring tour. Sudden Impact, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. Here is a look at one of the future stars in professional wrestling in tag team competition. Lance Storm, Chris Jericho, Sudden Impact, today's main event right here on WFWA Main Event Wrestling. From coast to coast and border to border, Joel, and joining me, what a pleasure to have one of the former, greatest champions of all time, Nick Bockwinkel. Welcome to WFWA Wrestling.
My pleasure. I appreciate the invitation to be able to sit here with you, and it's going to be an awful lot of fun this evening.
Well, I think we should be in for a great contest right off the hop. Tag team action. On one side of the ring, you're going to have Sudden Impact, Lance Storm and Chris Jericho. And on the other side, you've got Gentleman Jimmy Jordan and the luscious Lenny St. Clair. I'll tell you, take a look at this Sudden Impact. They're totally in sync from the jackets to the tights. And these two men can motor in there, Nick.
Well, of course, as you know, it's nice to have matching outfits, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. A lot of these young fellas are very new to me, so I'm very interested in seeing what they've got. I've always been very enthusiastic about any of the younger wrestlers coming up because everybody had to start someplace, and that's what really enthuses me about this whole operation.
All right, well, these two men, you see them there now. Gentleman Jimmy Jordan squaring off with Lance Storm, one half of Sudden Impact, himself and Chris Jericho, to a lot of wrestling experts. Big reminder, I guess. Oh, holy cow. Nick, Pearl Harbor attack from behind.
Well, I've got to say so far that in the few seconds that this match has started, the action has been brisk. That tells me an awful lot. That means that these people are very intense. They know what they want to do and how they're doing it. Their bodies are flying around. And I guess what I'm seeing is that all the moves have got a little crackling sound to them.
Well, Lance Storm and Jericho now in there off the tag. Irish whip off the ropes, and what a whammy there, an elbow to the sternum. A lot of people reminded of, let's say, the Rockers here when you're talking about Jericho and Storm.
Absolutely. I would venture to say that just for the few minutes that I've watched these two, I'm extremely impressed.
Well, this luscious Lenny St. Clair now with an arm bar, working over the wrist. A referee in there, Kenny Antliff, viewing all the action. Look at this move here by Jericho and a nice arm drag takedown.
One of the things I like to see is a sense of timing. You can make a lot of very artistic moves, but if you don't have the timing down, you'll blow the move someplace in between. He didn't do that. That's what's nice. He made an attempt to do something, was able to counter it, come out on top.
Well, as you notice there, these two, well, they're not very seasoned in the world of professional wrestling yet, but they have the experience in their mind anyway. They're knowing they're holding on to the moves, and now you got a man like Luscious Lenny, well, maybe the way you started out your career, breaking the rules a little bit.
Well, actually not. I mean, everybody has to mature. Oh! Lovely move.
Well, he might have had him there, a 2 count. Jericho making that tag. Now, that's something you have to do in tag team action. Yourself in the crippler one time. What timing there? This could be all right. You might have him. Only a 2 count, but Nick, you and the crippler tag team, you have to make those quick tags and try and size down your opponent in your half of the ring.
Well, one of the things that I'm seeing here tonight, and that is whatever standard that Ray Stevens and I set, that standard is where these young men have started. These guys are making moves that Ray and I didn't make.
Flying drop kick there by Lance Storm. Going to work at St. Clair with a rake to the eyes, and I guess that's about the only kind of offense he's been able to mount so far.
Storm seems to take and want to take and keep these guys from flying around. He wants to hold them down. When these guys are moving,
he's going to work on the boots. Storm might have to make a tag now. He's getting worn down in there.
Storm and Jericho have got to understand one thing. A lot of the moves they're making are high profile. That means when they're successful, they're tremendous. If you blow one of those high-profile moves, you put yourselves in tremendous danger.
So you're saying there is a high risk with those kind of maneuvers. As you can see now, one referee, that question's never been really answered. Is one referee enough for a tag team match? And that is where that double team effort happens here. But Jordan going up top yet. I don't know if Storm's got all his steam out because this could be a mistake. Oh, no, he lands fully with that knee.
I thought he was watching, but I guess I was wrong. I thought maybe he was trying to sucker him in. But if he could have moved out of the way, he would have. You can't take a chance. Anytime a guy comes off the top rope, it's very, very possible. In Ray Stevens' day and mine, it was illegal to come off the top rope.
Well, they've opened that up maybe to create a little bit more offense in wrestling. I don't know how you do that, but Storm is in a lot of trouble right now. He's got to make a tag. A little inspiration from his partner, Chris Jericho. Irish whip off the turnbuckle. Flying body press. He might have him. Only a 2 count. He was going more on instinct there, though, Nick.
Absolutely. To go into the corner after what had been done to him and to try to make the move, there was that split second. He's only 5 feet from the corner, and his mind says, leap up here, try to come back with a press.
Well, they make that tag now. Storm. This is where that tag team effort comes. Nice.
Beautiful maneuver. Beautiful move.
Only a 2 count, though. I thought he would have had him. Let's give Jordan some credit there for getting out of that maneuver. First time I've seen a maneuver like that. These two men could be adding some new maneuvers to the world of professional wrestling, and you're seeing it right here on WFWA Wrestling.
Well, one of the things I'm seeing is that both these young men, Storm and Jericho, they've got moves that the Rockers haven't put together yet.
Well, and that is a good sign for an up-and-coming young tag team. Yes, you do have your inspirations, but you have to be your own kind of guy.
Absolutely, and they're proving it by the moves that they're making. A lot of them are moves that, in me not having seen them, then you know that they're putting a lot of paperwork down, sitting and figuring what they can do with their bodies in that ring.
Well, something you might not know, Nick, these two young men formed a tag team, I guess, just over a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. They just got back from a tour of Japan. That's high acclaims for a young tag team nowadays to get offered a contract in Japan.
Absolutely. I've made probably 30 trips to Japan over a 25-year period, and there's no question, when you get a contract to come over there and wrestle, that means you are thought of extremely highly.
Chris Jericho, the native of New York City, New York, the Big Apple, his tag team partner Lance Storm watching on. Jericho might have to get out of there. They were all off to an early start. I'd say the second half of the match had to go over to sudden impact, but now things have sort of turned.
Well, what happened, they set such a tremendous pace in the beginning. I don't mean to say that anybody's running out of gas, but I know I saw one of the men holding his knee. So someplace along with all those dynamite moves, somebody may have hurt them.
Whoa. A collision on the 409. Either one of them able to maintain his balance. St. Clair to his feet first. He makes the tag. Jericho. Here comes Storm now, and the slip up there by Jordan, who tripped on his way in, might have given Storm the advantage. As you can see, he does have it.
That's all it takes is that half a second, and that's exactly what he did. This way, right now, he's maintaining 2 men all by himself.
And here he goes to work. Big back body drop that lands. Storm is on fire, the adrenaline going, and here we go now. He should be letting go of his opponent, but this could be all over. Oh! Beautiful maneuver. This could be it, and it is. wrestling, your winners, Lance Storm and Chris Jericho, Sudden Impact. Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, the Lance Storm, Chris Jericho, Sudden Impact.
Sudden Impact's here in the WFWA, returning from Japan, ready to take on all challenges.
You know, that's right, Lance. This is Lance Storm, and I am Chris Jericho, and we are Sudden Impact. And we've just come back from an exclusive tour of Japan, and now we're here in the WFWA, and we're happy to be here, needless to say. And Sudden Impact, what do? Well, we wrestle, and above all, we fly. We fly from the top of the roof, we fly from the top of the rope, we fly from the rafters, we fly wherever we feel. So any of our opponents who might be stepping in the ring with Sudden Impact, you might be watching out, because we might be coming from way up high, or maybe we'll come like from the rafters down on top of you. We don't know yet, but you're going to have to wait and see what happens. Because there is no I in team, and we are a team. Sudden Impact, it's something for you to watch out for, people.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from two of the rising stars in professional wrestling, Sudden Impact, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, just two of the big names already signed. I'm starting to get goosebumps. That tour takes place April the 15th on, and it will take you throughout the province of Manitoba. Also signed, you've got the seasoned veteran Bulldog Bob Brown and one of his favorite people, Champagne Jerry Morrow, who happens to be the WFWA heavyweight champion. Speaking of former champions, we've also got the Natural, the WFWA heavyweight champion at one time. He will be in there. Also, superstar Stan Saxon. How about Bobby J and Little Tomahawk Gene Swan? Brian Jewell and Chi Cruz will be doing battle with the Bulldog throughout the province. As well as some other big names that we'll be telling you about in the weeks to come. That's all the time we have for you now. Joe Aiello here for the Bulldog and the Doghouse. We'll see you 7 days from now or on the road with the WFWA. Have yourselves a good week.